In Book 10 of the Republic, Socrates returns to his frontal assault on the status and role of poetry in the ideal state. Socrates charges poetry with being divorced from reality. A poet, for example, may include a description of a table in his verse, yet this description must be regarded as only an imitation, mimesis of an actual table. And this table, apparently so concrete and touchable and real, must be acknowledged as really only a copy or visible manifestation of the form of a table. This form is the invisible, yet undeniably real model or eternal paradigm of a table that serves as its perfect ideal. Poetry, therefore, is thrice removed from the truth. Poets are like painters who do not render reality in their creations, but rather appearance. The imitative art is inferior, and it appeals to an inferior part of the soul, awakening and strengthening the feelings, but impairing reason. Socrates warns poetry feeds and waters the passions instead of drying them up. The only poetry that should be allowed in the ideal state is hymns to the gods and the praises of virtuous individuals. Socrates launches into the famous myth of which concludes the dialogue as a whole. Was a warrior who was killed in battle, but who, 12 days after his death, returned to life and told what he had seen in the other world. When his soul had left his body, it embarked on a marvelous journey in the afterlife. Following judgment of the dead, the souls were required to choose a new life. After drinking from the river of forgetfulness, the souls completed their journey by being reborn. Aristotle, Plato's most famous student, developed a completely different outlook on mimesis, using the concept in his treatise on poetry, the Poetics, as a key element in the definition of drama. The myth of forms a striking conclusion to the Republic. Structurally, it echoes some of the motifs readers have seen in the dialogue as a whole. But perhaps the most striking feature of the myth of is Plato's decision to conclude his dialogue on the ideal state with a poetic narrative or parable that's rife with symbolic and metaphorical levels of meaning.